Drug calculations. For a lot of us, those two words can be, well, a little intimidating, right? But what if we stopped thinking of them as a math test and started seeing them as a safety process? In this explainer, we are going to break down the key formulas, for sure. But more importantly, we're going to focus on the common sense thinking that gives you accuracy and confidence every single time. Let's jump in. I mean, let's be real for a second. The stakes here are as high as they get. This isn't just about crunching numbers, it's about a person's well being. That pressure is totally real. And just acknowledging that is the very first step toward building a system that keeps everyone safe from mistakes. So, how in the world do we manage that pressure? Well, it starts by realizing that before you ever even think about a calculator, your most powerful tool is your own brain, your practical judgment. This one simple idea, it's the foundation for literally everything else we're about to talk about. And that brings us right to our first section. I want you to think of this part as your safety net. These are the things you do before you get to the math, just to make sure you're pointed in the right direction from the get-go. Here it is, your three-step safety check. First, just estimate. Before any formulas, just ask yourself, is this going to be a big number or a small one? Are we talking more than one tablet or less? Then visualize it. Seriously, even a quick little doodle can make a problem so much clearer. And finally, after you get your answer, you circle all the way back and ask the most important question of all. Does this number even make sense? Trust me, this little loop catches almost all of the common errors. Okay, so with our safety net firmly in place, let's dive into our first major topic, oral and injected doses. This is where we'll meet the one formula you are probably going to use more than any other. And here it is, the workhorse of drug calculations. The volume you need to give a patient equals the strength required, divided by the stock strength that you have, and you multiply all that by the volume of the stock. It looks simple, and honestly, it is, once you get what each part means. So let's break that down. The whole trick is just knowing what goes where. Strength required is simple. It's what the prescription says the patient needs. And stock strength is just what you're holding in your hand. You know, the dose that's available in your supply. That's it. Get those two straight and you are golden. And if you need a clever way to remember which number goes on top, here you go. Just think sunrise over sunset. The strength required, or SR, goes on top, just like the sun rising. The stock strength, SS, goes on the bottom. It sounds a little silly, but believe me, it works. Okay, let's put this into practice. The order is for 750 milligrams. What we have on hand are 500 milligram tablets. So first things first, our safety check. We estimate. 750 is more than 500, but it's not double, so the answer has to be somewhere between 1 and 2 tablets, right? Now we use the formula. 750 required over 500 stock times 1 tablet. And when you solve that, you get your answer, 1.5 tablets. And what do you know? That lines up perfectly with our common sense estimate, which should make you feel really confident that you've got the right answer. And this is what that number actually means in the real world. It's not some abstract 1.5. It's one whole tablet and one half of another. When you can see it like this, the answer becomes concrete. It's undeniable. Okay, let's switch gears. We've got tablets down. Now let's move on to something a bit more dynamic, intravenous infusions. Here we're talking about flow over time, which means we're going to need a slightly different set of tools. So here's the main formula for IV infusions. The drip rate, in drops per minute, is the total volume in milliliters times the drops per ml of your giving set, and you divide all of that by the time in hours. And since we want drops per minute, we have to multiply those hours by 60 on the bottom to get our total time in minutes. See? It's all about making sure the units match up. Let's walk through an example. A patient needs 1.5 liters of fluid over 10 hours, and our set delivers 20 drops per milliliter. Now stop. What's the very first thing you should notice? The units don't match. We have liters and milliliters. This is a classic trip-up spot. So first, we have to convert 1.5 liters into 1,500 milliliters. Now we can plug everything in. 1,500 times 20, all divided by 10 times 60. And that gives us our answer, 50 drops per minute. You know, this is so important it deserves its own moment. Getting your units to be consistent is an absolutely non-negotiable step. Whether it's liters to milliliters or grams to milligrams, you have to check and convert before you calculate. One tiny mistake here can throw the whole thing way off. And what's really cool about these IV calculations is that volume, rate, and time are all connected. You can think of them like a little family. As this chart shows, if you know any two of them, you can always find the third. Need to find the rate? It's just volume divided by time. Need the time? It's volume divided by rate. It's all the exact same relationship, just shuffled around. All right, let's talk about a different kind of challenge, because sometimes there isn't a neat little formula you can just plug numbers into. Dilution problems are the perfect example of when you have to lean on good old-fashioned, step-by-step logic. So let's just think our way through this morphine problem. Our goal is 30 milligrams in a final volume of 30 milliliters. Okay, our stock is 10 milligrams per milliliter. So pretty logically, to get 30 milligrams, we're going to need 3 ampules. Now here's the key part. Those 3 ampules already contain 3 milliliters of liquid. So to get to our target of 30 milliliters total, we just subtract that 3 from 30, which tells us we need to add exactly 27 milliliters of saline. See? No formula, just logic. And here's what that process looks like. It makes it crystal clear, right? You start with your 3 milliliters of the actual drug from the stock, and then you just add your diluent, in this case, 27 milliliters of saline, to bring that total volume right up to the 30 milliliters you need. It's really just simple addition. Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all of this together into a final toolkit, something you can use as a quick reference to make sure all these critical ideas stick. Here they are, the essential formulas we've been talking about all in one spot. You've got your sunrise over sunset formula for doses and the whole interconnected triangle of IV calculations for volume, rate, and time. This is your go-to cheat sheet. But listen, formulas are only half the story. The process, that is what really keeps people safe. And it all boils down to this mantra: always estimate first. Always make sure your units match. Apply the correct formula, and then always do that final common sense check. That 4-step process is your ultimate safety guarantee. And that leaves us with one final and, I think, most important question. It's not enough to just know this process. You have to live it. So think about this. How can you turn these steps into an automatic, second nature, unbreakable habit for every single calculation you ever have to make?